southern China, and with Japan knocking on its door.
Much of the collection makes its way to Nanjing, along with Li. I still have the task of gathering evidence for Yi's trial, and awaiting the return of the British exhibition, which is a success. How lucky am I to have this beauty before me, seen only by emperors and noblemen. I have the honor to view centuries of what was seen only by a privileged few. Sensory overload keeps me from the realities that face this nation. I become detached from it. I vanish into the world of the Forbidden City, a voyeur into the inner chambers of a world left only to be felt in one's dreams. Landscapes so beautiful as if from another planet. God, hunting parties with the Emperor that Teddy Roosevelt would envy. Gardens that rival what Eden must have been. And calligraphy, more beautiful than a musical script by Beethoven, swallows up my curiosity. Wow, look at this.
Wake up.
Ah! Damn, you scared me! Oh! Oh! I haven't seen anything like this in the ancient artifacts. It's remarkable.
Exquisite, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a work full of atmosphere and 3-dimension. Horses in every mode of motion. It looks like a hybrid of Western and ancient Chinese styles.
Yes, hurry. We haven't got much time. Wrap it up! They sent me back to transport the remainder of the collection west in the mountains. There is word that the Japanese are preparing to attack Shanghai. We are preparing to move the artifacts out of Nanjing.
What?
We must prepare for the journey. Trucks are not available. I've hired horse-driven carts to transport the cargo to the steamship that'll take us up the Yangtze. You must come. There is no other route out.
No, I have to send a message to my family and the Foundation back home. I send my message home. I'm not able to wait for a reply. A war is chasing us, and suddenly I'm more concerned about a silk scroll landscape with horses. It makes its way onto the ship, and we launch. Finally, a moment to rest.
Enjoy the journey. We're going to take the artifacts to a Confucian temple. Many Japanese are Confucian. They wouldn't bomb a temple. Then I must return to Nanjing and move my wife and children.
Listen. There must be a storm brewing.
No. I'm afraid it's the Japanese assault of Shanghai.
Somehow, I didn't think the Japanese would do it. Especially with the foreign concessions.
They'll probably use the excuse that they're freeing China from the foreign imperialist.
We both stare east from the deck of the ship, as the painted sky of the sunset is marred with periodic flashes from explosions. Having traveled some distance by the next morning, I awake and walk out of my cabin. The beauty engulfs every fiber of my being. I'm smack in the middle of an ancient scroll. I am in the mythical mountains of southern China, a masterpiece created by God in every direction that you look. Fitting place for a sanctuary.
Look, there's the temple.
What, you mean that dot in the landscape? As we approach, the scale of the architecture emerges and competes with the mountains. Look! You can see people moving about, and that magnificent staircase rising up out of the water. Oh. The steamship eases into a protective cove where the dock is. I can hear the echoes from the temple. We disturb a flock of geese, and they fly overhead to announce our arrival.
I will remain until all is stored safely. But I must return to Nanjing. I must see my wife and children.
You should go as soon as possible. Do you want me to come?
No. We need you to stay here. I'm sure the collection's already been moved out to Nanjing. It may already be here. I fear for my family.
I had forgotten for a moment the dangers that lie downstream. Sure enough, part of the collection was already here. In Lee's absence, I enjoy the hospitality of the priests and the serenity of the temple. I'm left with the task of the inventory paperwork. The 20,000 crates have been divided up and sent in 3 different directions. We believe that they will be safe here and plan to stay until the end of the war. I again become lost in the art, always discovering something new and completely oblivious to the war beyond. I hope to see the scroll of the horses in the landscape. I find it on the inventory paperwork. It's titled 100 Horses by Lang Shining, and it is marked as being one of the 10 best works ever produced in all of China. Now, during the inventory process, it was ensured that we would give priority to the most important works, and kept them in specially marked crates. The trouble is that we have close to 6,000 crates total. I again become overwhelmed with the visions of this ancient culture. I long to see the whole scroll. I've only seen a few feet. There's still 23 feet left to see. The next morning, I leave my quarters and head to the storage buildings. Already on the temple plaza are the priests practicing their morning martial arts ritual. I stand and watch in amazement of the peaceful dragons.
Confucius said, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Listen, watch, do what I do. Here, take this.
You're willing to teach a Westerner?
A friend with a sword is better than an enemy with one.
Ah, Confucius?
No, me. War is close.
Yes.
God created war so Americans like you learn geography.
One of your philosophies?
No, Mark Twain. I'm a University of Missouri graduate, 1929. Go Tigers! My father was a diplomat in America.
What? Ah! Are they laughing at me?
No, they were laughing at my joke.
I join them for each morning ritual before continuing on with my quest. I ached the first couple of days, but I begin to feel like I belong. A week has passed, and I still haven't seen the scroll. It's difficult to find once mingled in with the thousands of crates. A few weeks have passed since Lee has left. Finally, I see a steamship coming up the Yangtze. Many of us run down to the dock to await the arrival of this unscheduled transport. I hope that Lee will be aboard. By the looks of everyone's faces, something seems very wrong. Lee!
500,000 slaughtered in the rape of Nanjing.
What? Lee, is that your child?
What? No. We must evacuate the treasure at once.
What? Where to?
West, to the secret caves of the mountains.
Lee, there must be thousands. Boats of every kind. Oh! Ah! We work all night and the next couple of days to evacuate what we thought was a safe haven. Surely the Japanese scout has gotten word back as to our existence. As we steam away, we can see in the distance the temple being bombed by the Japanese planes before we sail around a bend which obstructs our view. We travel a few days before anybody talks. Lee, tell me, what happened?
The occupation of Shanghai was complete. We knew Nanjing would be next. I was home with my wife and children. Stepped outside to load the truck. The blast knocked me off my feet. Tried to get up to rescue them as the bombs went off around me. I only found body parts of my children. I heard moans. My wife was trapped in the basement under the ruins. I stayed with her. I was there for 2 days. She bled and died in my arms.